This is the Amp Hour Podcast, recorded June 17th, 2013, episode 150, Solar Shopper Sickness.
Welcome to the Amp Hour. I'm Dave Jones from the EEV blog.
And I'm Chris Gamble of Chris Gamble's Analog Life. And you're sick.
Yes,
Gross.
I'm not a happy little puppy today, but we decided to soldier on instead of hold off for a day.
Yeah.
Because we figure, I could just turn into a nasty cough or something. So
Right.
Yeah,
we don't know if Dave's going to make it. He's getting old,
right.
So,
So if I sound more nasally than I usually am, then we'll know why.
And that's saying something.
Yeah, exactly.
We've determined that Dave's not allowed to laugh either because that might set him off into a coughing fit. But we'll try and edit it out whatever we can.
It could.
Yeah.
Yep.
So this is going to be a very solemn episode of the Amp Hour. And yes.
Don't throw in any ridiculous marketing things. That makes me laugh every time.
Yes. What do you do? Did you used to skip work? I'm always interested in that kind of stuff. Like from people coming into work and like being sick. Because like I don't have kids, right? But I know a lot of people have kids, and kids are just like germ factories, and they all transfer it from school to school, and then they go home, and all the parents get sick too, and then of course I get it from the parents when they come into work because they all feel obliged to work.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I've done that many a time. I've gone in and soldiered on because, I'm
a wimp, man. I'll sit home.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. I know that's a smart thing to do because that's why you get sick days, because it's actually a smart company will understand that it's beneficial for you to take the day off and not come and infect everyone than not.
Oh, yeah. Places I've worked have had unlimited sick days just because it's like...
Wow. Yeah.
If you abuse it, they know if you're going to abuse it, right? But if you're actually sick, what do they get? Like that policy of like, oh, well, you have to come in today. It's like, that's stupid. If you're sneezing on your hand and touching your oscilloscope and someone else comes over and uses it, it's like that person is also sick now. And it's just, I don't know, it's gross. Yep. Plus,
the worst one I've ever had is I was working for Altium and I was going to go to Shanghai, right?
Oh, God. Sick traveling is terrible.
And like a day before we were supposed to fly out, right? Bags packed, everything's packed, all my boxes of all the gears packed and everything. And I get one of the worst viruses ever. And this was smack on the bird flu, crap, all that bird flu.
So I'm hearing you started bird flu. Is that what I'm hearing?
Oh, that's it.
Dave took SARS to Asia.
So they were scanning like every single person who got off the plane, right?
Yeah.
They were monitoring every single, right? This was during the big scare, right? And they scanned every single person. There's no way I would have gotten in the country. And
so this was like, they did like face scanning, right? For like temperature differentials and everything.
Yeah.
Yep. I remember that. That was weird. My worst one was I was real sick down in Texas when I used to work in the fab. And being really sick and being in a clean room, I might have mentioned that on the show before, but it's like the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
It's like like I would just like shove Kleenex up my nose to try and like make sure nothing. But even still, sneezing inside a clean room is not a good thing because if you've ever seen like a slow motion of someone sneezing.
Oh yes, that sneeze. Yeah,
it's like an explosion.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome. But yeah, that is a terrible existence and.
Dear.
Really fabs in general.
Yield just plummeted.
Yeah.
At who was it? Samsung?
Yeah, it was a Samsung, yep. Yeah.
Yield just plummeted on all every Samsung device. Yeah. Every Apple device that relied on Samsung memory or something.
That's funny. That's like a butterfly flaps its wings kind of thing,
I was about to say that. Yeah, it's one of those chaos effects.
Yeah, process engineer gets a cold, and your iPhone fails. Oh, that's gross.
But I just used my mute button there.
Oh, good. Yeah, me and Dave have been talking about creating a USB mute button, but the logistics of it seem tough because you'd have to break the stream for like a USB device, but also still stay connected.
I'm telling you, do it in software.
Do it on
You tried to do it that way, and it was dumb. Yeah. Have it as a separate device, plugs in the USB, and then there's a software that just turns on the Windows mute function somehow. That's it. End of story.
Oh, okay. It's just like a key toggler kind of thing, like a foot pedal insert. I've seen those before.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's got to be that dead man type because we've got this mute button, right? We've got the Windows one, but you always forget to turn it back off. So you start talking again. Oops.
Yeah.
You know. You just
Dave,
so you need to have
there?
your hand on, and then whoop, hello, McFly.
Yeah.
I'm
not
not
randomly
mucking
throughout
around.
the show, I'm gonna be like, Dave, you there? Dave,
But
Dave, are you there?
Hello, check, check,
Nice.
check. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's annoying.
Very, very good example there.
Yeah. Have we had enough snot on today's show?
God,
we talked
yes.
enough
I
about-
don't handle that stuff well. I don't do well with. I've never thought I was going to be anything biologically related. You know, never going to be a doctor. Never going to be a.
Right.
Yeah, I learned that one from a young age.
Is it time for a rant? Can I have a rant? Just get it out of the way.
Sure. Yeah.
You know what I hate?
What do you hate, Dave?
I hate it when companies automatically cancel your account because you haven't used it in a while. Why?
Who did this?
Bloody JCar out in Electus, their wholesale arm. It looks like they've cancelled my wholesale account
Oh, jeez.
that I've had for...
Yeah, you know, I just take that as they don't want my business. That's fine. Whatever. I'll move on. You know, unless you're paying for the membership, and you know, then it's like, you know, like if it's like a membership club or something.
Right. But it doesn't cost them anything to leave you enabled in your in their system. It's ridiculous.
The cost
not
of-
everyone buys stuff every month. Bang, bang, bang.
Maybe it's
You
the
know?
cost of you know, filing your papers or something because they're still really
Bullshit.
really behind the times.
No. No, bullshit. There's no cost whatsoever. They've changed their system. They just decide to purge everyone or something.
See, that's weird because
stupid shit like that.
you should appreciate that because most places will not just keep you, they'll sell you to other places. You know, you'll be getting emails from not just JCar, you'll be getting them from, you know, every distributor on the planet.
Yeah, but come
They'll
on,
bundle
two
you up
different
like a
issues.
CDO,
let's
you know?
let's not tie those issues together.
Yeah.
Come on,
I
one
guess.
doesn't automatically mean the other.
I don't know. It's just it's annoying. Yeah, it's annoying.
Anyway, I hate it.
It's rant
bloody
worthy.
annoying.
Yeah.
And does anyone else have any companies, name and shame them, that have automatically booted you out because you haven't bought something from them for 6 months or something?
Yeah. I don't think that happens to me very often. When has that? I guess that
No.
that happens with credit cards sometimes, but yeah, not like electronics companies. I mean,
Well, it's different with companies because if you got like 5 people at a company and, you know, somebody's going to buy something from them, you know, sooner or later. But when you're on your own, when you're your own one-man band, you know, you may not do anything for 6 months. And then all of a sudden, bam, you've got a new project and you want to buy a buttload of stuff and, you know,
yeah.
bastards.
Sorry, man. Should we call the ambulance? Speaking of buying, though, you've bought something new and fancy and fun. Tell us about
Have
it.
I? Oh, right, yes.
Yeah, it's on your house.
Hang on, I was just going to say that I've got Gary Johnson's phone number. The
Who's Gary Johnson?
CEO of... he's the CEO of JCar/Altronics/ whatever they call themselves
Oh yeah, bend his ear
this
then.
month. Yeah, I should give him an earful.
I never heard of JCar until I started the show with you. It's weird how that stuff's just
Right.
regional.
Well,
you know?
yeah, it's regional. You know, I mean, it's like people in Australia who we don't care about, Jameco or something. We just don't. We never hear of them. They don't advertise here. They're not a.
well, they do in the
you
amp
know,
hour.
I mean,
Of course,
yes, they do.
Of course, yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
But, you know, I mean, back in the day, right? They just you would just never heard of them.
Yeah,
And
it's
I'm
weird
sure
to
there's
think
other
about.
US suppliers no one's ever heard of
Yeah,
outside the US and other countries. So
yeah, it's tough with that stuff too. I saw today that there's There's this really awesome looking contest from Little Fuse where they like are giving they're giving away a tour of NASA.
Oh, what?
Yeah,
Awesome.
Yeah, and you can't do it. Sorry.
To US residents only,
Yep.
asterisks.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's always the tough
Or
part,
to
right?
East Coast residents only.
Yeah.
Or West Coast.
Yeah, probably West Coast.
West. Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, it's just tough though. It's just a globalization thing. It's like the world seems a lot smaller now, but it's still pretty big, and a lot of companies still aren't. There's so many legal restrictions between countries too. It's like, as much as you want to see NASA, it's like, well, sorry, buddy.
Yeah, tough tits. You're on the terrorist list because you're not a US citizen.
Exactly.
And even if you are a US citizen, you're still on the terrorist list because, well, we don't trust anyone because we're the US government. Sorry. Let's not go there.
Get it out of the way, man. Just get it all out. Just get it all out.
Right.
Oh, no. Yeah. These days. But yeah, let's not go there.
Right.
But yeah, it looked
Should
cool.
we try and get Gary on the radio show?
Yeah.
Because he does like to talk a bit and talk about the history of founding a,
definitely.
component supply company like that. I might have to get in touch.
You should. Yeah. Give him a call, bend his ear, and then invite him on. A little.
Right.
And,
Your company's shit, and then would you like to come
and
on
while
the
you're
show?
here, would you like to have an American berate you as well, even though he's never used your services?
Right, yeah. It's a win-win.
Yes.
Oh, boy. Love it. Anyway, yes, I have something new and fun.
Yes. And big.
Although I feel as though I am like 5 years behind the times. I really do.
Why is that?
I've got a new I've got a new solar power system. I've got a new 3 kilowatt. Wow, massive 3 kilowatt. Apparently that's like baby stuff, so I'm told. But yeah, anyway, I thought it was pretty big. I've got a 3 kilowatt home solar power system. Apparently everyone has been, complaining that I called it a solar system.
What is it really
because
called?
they think, it's the I don't know. I guess they want me to call it a solar power system. They don't like the term solar system because that refers to the entire solar
like
system,
space,
which,
like referencing space, right?
Yeah, space, as in
No,
yeah.
who cares? I mean, that's stupid.
I didn't think of that. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Solar power system.
yeah. But I feel like I'm so far behind the times. Every man and his dog, everywhere I drive, everyone's got a bloody solar system.
Well, yeah,
Sorry,
because of that
solar
thing you
power
mentioned
system.
in the video. It's the feed-in. We've talked about that before. The feed-in tariffs were huge in Australia. Like that's
For a time,
Yeah, for
and
a
that
little
just
while.
fueled the explosion. And I probably should have bought at the time, And
yeah.
well, I didn't. I was dumb, and now I get a lousy 6 cents instead of 60 cents.
Yeah, and if people don't know, the feed-in tariff is basically it's like a subsidized rates for selling power back to the grid. So your inverter turns on and you
and
start
then
raking in bucks.
And then there's two systems, net and gross. I'm on net.
Yeah.
What that means is that I only get paid for the excess energy I put back. So my house uses it first if it's during the day, and I've got something turned on during the day in the house, and I use it, and instead of exporting it back to the grid.
Yeah.
But gross is tariff is where you get paid for everything going back, regardless of whether or not you use it.
Why? Because then you just get charged from them as well. Is that the idea?
Oh, well, yeah, you get charged your normal rate for using the energy, but you get paid for every cent you export back to the grid, which is every kilowatt hour you generate. So you get paid for it, whereas I only get paid for the energy that I don't use
Right.
and put back. So that's the difference. Anyway, yeah, so I'm getting shafted two ways. I've got a net system and I've got a lousy 6 cents per kilowatt hour.
Yeah, but
so,
that's not why you did it. Come on, that's you
I
you did it
because
because you're
cool
a tree hugger and in a good way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but no, it'll pay. It should. Well, I'm not measuring my consumption at the moment. I need to buy another doodad that measures my consumption.
Right.
But yeah, my rough calculations were it would pay back in 5 years tops. So
Yeah, that's totally worth
and
it.
The inverter has a 10-year warranty. The solar panels have a 20-year life. Well, output warranty.
Yeah.
If they're still in business,
Right, of course.
Yeah.
Well, LG, they should be around.
LG, yes. I went with the LG. I specifically paid more to get the LG panels, figuring that they might be around in, 10, 15 years' time. So
yeah, it's interesting.
We'll
we don't talk about the grid much on here because it's we talk more about electronics than the actual electrical systems, behind everything. But like I've seen a couple articles about the effect of solar in the coming years, and just from a grid normalization standpoint, I mean, like if people don't know, like actual power plants, like most of their money is made actually at peak times. So like when a hot summer day, they flip a switch, they turn on an extra turbine, and that's actually when they start cranking out all the money, right? All the normalized stuff is not as big a deal. And so if you get to the point where a lot of people have solar and it helps, like basically it effectively is like, if you're looking at it as like an electronic system, that would be like the bulk capacitance for the system, right? Where it normalizes these ripples of, people turning stuff on and off, and it adds capacity to the system, right? But if you don't have that anymore, then the whole economics of the grid change, and it just gets weird really quick. I mean, like,
but that's why they're being smart, no pun intended, and switching everywhere, trying to get the government to mandate smart meters. You see,
yeah,
so that you get charged per usage hour, the time of the day you use the energy. So there'll be peak, off-peak, shoulder times, all that sort of stuff. And you can get charged double or triple during peak hour.
Right,
right. Yeah, peak hour. And sounds like traffic,
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the idea, And they go, oh, but it'll be cheaper, because you only pay for energy when you use it. And it's like, yeah, bullshit.
Yeah.
I checked here in Australia, at least one company, the company I'm with in Victoria, they don't have it in New South Wales, but the peak time is from 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. So it's like, bam, you've come home, you're cooking, you're watching TV with your 5 kids, and you got all your aircon running because it was cold or hot.
Using a hairdryer or anything else. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And you're taking your hot showers if you got, and it's like, yeah, of course, there's no way you're going to pay less for something like that. You need more of an unusual type,
like a lifestyle,
scenario,
like a
mine.
second shift or something.
Yeah, exactly. You have to be a shift worker or something like that to really see massive benefits.
Yeah.
And anyway,
well, it's interesting,
but we're going to have to change our habits a bit to get the maximum benefit, because now, effectively, because we're not getting paid much feed-in tariff for our solar power.
Yeah.
Then it's sort of either use it or lose it kind of thing, or use it or not get paid much. So we're going to, put our washing machine on during the day, our dishwasher on during the day,
right,
and stuff like that. Try and use energy during the day and warm the house up during the day or something like that.
Right, because it's winter there, as I always forget.
Yeah, it's winter here at the moment.
Right. Or you could get a battery system. That's the other option, right? That's the... Although that's more cost.
They're horribly inefficient, expensive, and maintenance. Yep. No, if you're hooked up to a reliable grid, there's no point having a battery system unless you really want to stick it to the man and not use
or you
drop
want to build
of
it
their
yourself.
electricity.
I think battery systems they're still dangerous, right? But I think they're, in terms of the realm of what you'd want to do. You could probably engineer your own battery system for your house, versus I think doing that versus like trying to do an inverter would be much more advisable, in my opinion.
Exactly. Don't do your own inverter, folks.
No. And those things are really efficient too. That's what I'm always amazed at, that, like the efficiency of those things. They're like what, mid to high 90s? Is that right?
At least. Yeah, like 98 or something like that. Yeah, very high.
Right. Yeah, I guess that adds up pretty fast if you don't have that. So, well, now the real question is, are you going to try and go all Dean Kamen? And because his, I think I read about his house on North Dumpling Island. He's got like LED lights all over the place. He designed a completely custom DC infrastructure. So basically he just taps off his solar panels, and then he has a storage system out there because it's just it's off the grid. But
yeah,
you can do that.
Well,
then?
That's it. Well, there's no point because, like if you want to run your LED lights directly from your DC panels, for example, then what's the point? Because you don't need lights during the day when the sun's out.
That's true. I guess you would need to have actual storage system at that point.
You would need to have a storage system.
And of course, the point is not to actually have lights. It's to, show everyone how to build it. That's the fun part.
Oh, right. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah,
so I find myself getting sucked in now. It's like, I've got my data export into the grid, and I'm going to automate export into the web, so you can actually see all my solar power. I'm going to have it live up there, and now I'm going to track my consumption. I'm going to tie that in, and I'm probably going to track the temperature, and I want to track the mains voltage, and blah, 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 blah. And you just get sucked into the stats behind the whole thing,
Yeah. Yeah,
and I love stats,
right?
Graphs
Of course,
like
graphs are great, and it's like a game at that point, right? It's like it's the engineering mindset of wanting to optimize things. So you see how you can optimize the system, and just don't turn that off don't turn that dishwasher on for 2 hours yet, right? Or
that's right. It's fun.
Yeah, there was an article actually on O'Reilly's the Radar site, which is like their ongoing blog, and it's about so Internet of Things, right? Let's just get the term out there, right? So stigma term, but at the same time, right? The author of the article, he's basically saying like at a certain point, every technology becomes commodity, right? And he's saying that this is kind of the next thing, like the connected devices is, we get pissed off on the show when we say Internet of Things, but what happens when it's just connected? It's not like a big deal anymore. It's just, okay, you just plug a Cat5 cable on the back of your dishwasher, or your thermostat is wireless now, right? I mean, like the Nest thermostat.
Yeah.
And it's interesting from that perspective of like, well, yeah, I mean, it's always started, technology always starts super crazy, right? Oh, electronic control of even like a battery powered thermostat, right? It's not running with a mercury switch. Oh, okay, well, or whatever that little metal coil that was in there on the old thermostats, like that was a weird technology at one point too. So,
well, doesn't it take like 20 years for a technology to become integrated in mainstream society?
It sounds about right.
I think that's yeah. Almost everything you can name, like toasters, TVs, computers, everything you can possibly imagine took probably 15, 20 years to sort of become,
well, there's
integrated with our society,
curve.
Second nature.
I forget what it's called. There's like a product adoption curve, and they actually map it out over time too, of like where certain things are. I remember I've seen it recently for like where 3D printing is on the curve, right? Because 3D printing is not new, and it started in the 80s, right?
No.
But
yep.
But in terms of where it actually is on the curve, it's different.
Oh, it's
more publicly acceptable. It's commoditized, everything. So,
well, yeah, but I think it's 10, 15 years away from mainstream.
Maybe. I mean, it's I don't know, like mainstream, like as I guess like an appliance, right? That is the ultimate measure of
yes, exactly.
Because then it's commodity. It's it's lower cost, it's accessible to the masses, it's pretty dumbed down. But then, there's certain technologies where it's just like, well, is that ever going to happen? I mean, like...
Well, see, it may not.
Yeah.
Right? Because the 3D printer, what do you use it for? To print objects. Where do you get the files from to print those objects?
Yeah. It's the hype curve. That's what it was. That's what I was thinking of. Because it not only is, the actual adoption of it, it's also how much people talk about it. Right, and where it is on, this is going to be the next thing, right? Well, if it's super hyped right now, there's like a top peak of inflated expectations, and then it dives back down. People forget about it, and then it finally comes back.
Google Glass?
I don't even know. I think that's a trigger, like the very early side of things.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Google Glass teardown?
I have. Oh yeah, that was good.
It's not that surprising. There's not much in it. Duh. Like, it had exactly in it what I expected to be in it. It's like, duh. It's not like mega revealing.
Yeah, and it's tough to tell too, because the price point isn't realistic yet, as we know.
Right.
It'll be interesting when they finally release a final price to see what, then you can really start comparing these parts and everything to prices and see how that actually fits together. Versus what it is now, it's just like, okay, well, yeah, parts. But yeah, it was done by SparkFun sponsored it, I think, and Star
I think
Simpson,
so, something
and
like that.
I forget who the other person was.
Yeah,
that did
someone like that.
And I think this finally makes up for Star. She, I'm still mad at her because she's the one who started the Taco Copter rumor. Do you remember that?
No.
It was a quadcopter service, a taco delivery service by quadcopter. It was this.
Right.
It was this. I forgot.
It was an April Fool's joke or something.
I think it might have been, but it wasn't. I found out later it wasn't real, and I was very angry because I was so excited about the idea of tacos delivered by flying UAVs. But yeah, so the teardown.
I can't believe you fell for that.
What? It's gonna happen. There's another technology like they're talking about like quadcopter delivery off of UPS trucks. That's another technology that could happen, right? I mean,
it's ridiculous. It's not going to happen.
It could happen.
It's not going to happen.
I'd say it wouldn't happen because of insurance companies.
It's just not going to happen. It's not practical.
Hey, Joe, how's the delivery job going? Well, I chopped up someone's dog yesterday.
Yeah.
The quadcopter got out of control. I chopped up someone's dog.
I'm sorry. Packages weigh a fair bit, okay? There's it's just stupid to think that that's viable and, the UAV to deliver your pizza. You know how much a good pizza weighs, It's
true.
just ridiculous. It's not going to happen.
Especially if you like the right amount of cheese. I mean, if your cheese ain't light.
Right.
Want a heavy
if
slice.
you've got a big, thick crust, none of that thin crap.
Exactly.
Yeah, right. It's not going to happen. Tell him he's dreaming.
All right.
Sorry, that's an Australian joke there.
Yeah? What's it mean?
Yeah. Oh, it's from the movie The Castle, if you haven't seen it.
No, I haven't.
No. You have to see The Castle. They've Americanized it.
Oh.
Apparently. I haven't seen the American version in quote marks, but apparently they've changed a few Australianisms to words that Americans can understand. So, anyway, it wouldn't be nearly as funny in America as it is here in Australia. Anyway.
I'm sure lots of things aren't, Dave. I'm sure you guys got lots of inside jokes that we wouldn't get.
Yeah, exactly. And vice versa.
Right, of course.
Yeah. But anyway, if you hear me say, tell him he's dreaming, then you know where that comes from.
Yep. Speaking of dreaming, so this is the dream of FPGA programmers everywhere. Maybe not. I don't know. So I found out about this this new library for FPGAs. It's called MyHDL. Have you ever heard of that?
No, I haven't. But isn't there an open HDL thing?
I don't know.
You're talking about modules and things.
Oh, you're talking
right?
about the open. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Free RTOS.
Yeah,
not free RTOS. God damn it. Open cores. You're thinking
open cores. Thank you. Yes, I'm thinking open cores. Yeah.
Right. No, that's so. Open cores is actually that's actually VHDL and Verilog. Primarily, I haven't seen any like System C or anything like crazy on there. System Verilog. But no, that's actually.
What else is there?
So that's actually coded in.
What else?
In HDL. So this is a Python library, though. So that's what's different.
What's Python got to do with FPGAs?
Exactly. So basically, this is a higher level, right? Because HDL, like VHDL and Verilog, they can go down really low, and you actually, create registers, and you can actually, create structures in logic, right? This is more...
Which is the whole idea of the advantage of FPGAs, but go on.
Well, no. Okay, so, and yes, I do agree with that, but when you're trying to do higher level functions, right, like like really math heavy stuff, like DSP type of stuff inside of FPGAs, which is increasingly a very big component of FPGAs, right? You don't want to necessarily code everything by hand each time.
Right. Oh, okay. So it's a Python to hardware compiler, just like you can get C to hardware compilers.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
And so, it's just like you said. I mean, C to hardware exists, but the ones I've seen you've had to pay for as well.
Altium has it free. It's all built in.
Oh, they did.
C to hardware compiler.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'd only.
It does kind of work. You know, you can.
Yeah.
You can write your C code and you can just go convert to hardware.
Yeah.
And then automatically converts it to a hardware module and then plugs the processor code into the hardware module and boom.
Yeah.
You know.
Right.
It does actually kind of sort of work. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's
well, okay. So there's goods and bads, right? I mean, because I've tried learning Python. I haven't gotten there yet. I've been using those not Coursera. What's the one? Code Academy. I've been using Code Academy.
Right.
That just doesn't. I don't know coding. But I mean, there is benefit to this, right?
You are wanting to do an electronics learning.
That's electronics. I'm just saying coding just doesn't hold my interest. That's what I'm trying to say.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Cool. I mean, a lot of people use that stuff. I mean, it's not like, you know. Anyways, that's besides the point. Contextualelectronics.com. No, so I have done though in the past. I've actually done DSP work on FPGAs, and I've always done it from. I did it from Simulink, doing Simulink down to, and then that converted to VHDL, and then you push that down into a FPGA,
right?
And then that actually, did the signal processing. This is basically, I think this is somewhere between C and Simulink, because Simulink's like super, super high level, whereas C is, high level, but not that high level. And then, I think this Python thing would be somewhere in between. And, I don't know, I just think it's pretty cool. So.
Yeah, it's like meh.
Meh?
If you happen to like Python and you happen to need a Python to hardware compiler, fine, it exists.
I think it's one of those things where it opens up digital hardware, building your own digital hardware to more people, right? I mean, there are going to be issues with it, right? Because
but
troubleshooting
the people
sucks.
Who want to, but the people who know they need to don't want to use that. It's like no, it's just not going to. It's not going to become mainstream.
No, probably not. No, I don't think it would be either. But it's just another option, right? I mean, it's just like
it's just that's why I'm going meh. It's just another option. Great. Okay, there's a Python to hardware compiler now. Great for those who specifically need that. Knock yourself out.
You're putting the kibosh on it, man. I like it.
Like it's well, fine. It's it's. So do I. It's okay, but, it's not going to suddenly make FPGAs more attractive and everyone's going to use FPGAs. Sorry, maybe I'm a bit burned because I spent 4 years at a company that
I think that might
their
be
entire vision was that the future of electronics would be FPGAs, and it was like,
that's true.
And I just giggled every time I walked into work, it was
right.
Just crazy, and I was right.
Well, people have been saying that for a long time, right?
Obviously.
And I'm not going to say it here that, FPGAs are the future. Because instead we can have someone else say it. There's another article by I think Proper Fixation, but basically kind of like as an overview about FPGAs and why people do and don't use them, and basically this Joseph K is making an argument for FPGAs being much more widely spread. So I don't need to say it because this person is. But also the other point that he's making is that it's not just FPGAs anymore, right? It's not just, FPGAs of old, right, or CPLDs before that, or what was before that one? The not ECL. What's the
GALs? They are actually gate arrays.
PALs and GALs, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, PALs and GALs.
Yeah. That was just, programmable gates, right? And then it moved up in abstraction layers to, registers and then whatever slices or whatever Xilinx and Altera and everybody else are calling it these days.
There's a lot of people who still look at it effectively as a gate array, I mean, whoop-de-doo, it's got flip-flops. It's just got gates arranged as flip-flops.
Yeah, but it's got lookup tables and everything else too, right? I mean, like, it's not just gates.
Yeah, they are different architectures.
Right.
Yeah.
But now, I mean, now it's moving up even more, right? Where, now FPGAs they've pushed hard processors back in, right? I mean, you can't almost. I think every top, all the top 4 vendors have that now, where they all have a hard processor in there again.
Yep.
And,
because they admitted defeat that FPGAs weren't the future. Oops, people want processors. Okay, well, yeah, it's not very efficient and blah, blah, blah. All right, we'll put a hard processor in there. They're going to hard silicon for bloody everything.
Yeah. Well, not everything.
FPGAs are turning into processors with a bit of FPGA fabric. That's where it's headed.
I agree with that. I think that is the future. I always thought that Intel was going to push some stuff into their, like, that a different chip vendor was going to buy IP from, like, a Xilinx or an Altera, or maybe they did at one point? I don't remember. But
I don't know.
I think that was going to be a bigger thing too, because I got really excited when Actel did that. They had said that, we're making microprocessors that just happen to have programmable logic, right? Because that's
right. Yep.
Yeah,
yep.
I mean, because the real benefit of the logic, the programmable logic, is doing the custom fast functions. So
and often a system, is mostly you do it CPU based, and then you might need a small function that you have to do in hardware.
Right.
Yeah. You might need a serializer or something. And bam, okay, great. I've got a little bit of FPGA fabric I can do that in, and
I think it's cool. But yeah. So FPGAs. I don't know. So anyways, I think my HDL, I think that's cool. I'd like to try it eventually. It's all open source. It's there's a good bit of documentation. So if people are Python programmers,
sure,
they can jump in and
knock yourself out.
Yeah.
It's great.
Post some links to that.
Because those sort of things are fun when they work for your application, just like the Cedar hardware compilers.
Yeah. When
they work for your application, they are magic, right?
Yeah.
Because you just write your traditional C code and bam, you push a button, and if all your parameters are right and everything else, and bam, it's magic. It really is good.
Yeah.
For those but it's not a universal solution, but for those that it suits, yeah.
Yeah. I always like that.
Shall we have a?
Oh, go ahead.
No, please finish off. I was going to completely change direction.
So I've used there was one where it wasn't just CETA hardware for, like, custom blocks of logic, but there's also one where, like, you could create, I think it was Altera, you could create God, I can't even think of it now. It was you could do custom instruction. So you actually set up an instruction in the processor for, like, super high, super used commands and stuff. You actually set up as a specific instruction directly inside the processor, so it's, like, really fast. I always thought that was really cool too.
Got it.
But
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
It, like you said though, it's hard to integrate, and especially if you don't have that when you're going in, right? If you're a software programmer, you're not thinking about, well, should I push this to hardware? You're thinking, how can I optimize this code, right? So you're right that that hardware programmers often, or hardware program, I guess that's correct. Digital hardware people have that.
Hardware programmer is called a solderer.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I've referred to digital hardware people as hardware programmers, I guess.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on.
My favorite programming language is still solder.
Yep. Mine too, because I can't do anything else.
You're right. Yeah, because we suck at it, right? Hello world. That's a
blink, blink, blink. So what's up? You were gonna change the subject. What were you gonna change to?
Come on, let's have another ranty bitch time. Circuit Lab, the online.
Yeah.
Hello. Nobody predicted this coming, folks.
You're right.
Circuit Lab. We've talked about them before, surely.
Yes, we have, and they have. I have them. They're always in my site because they're like a Chrome plugin, so it's like a Spice Chrome plugin.
Yes. And they're one of the current 20 million online PCB /
Yeah.
Is it? Do they do PCB? Yes, this one does PCB, doesn't it?
I didn't think they did.
No. This is only does circuits, right?
Yeah, I thought it was just Spice. I could be wrong. But
Spice, Simulator, or whatever. I lose track of all these companies. There's like a dozen of them now.
Yeah.
I was exaggerating before. I tend to do that. There's like a dozen of them now, or something, or close to that number, of these online PCB, schematic, simulation, blah, blah tool, CAD EDA tool, right? And they're charging. Now, they've decided to go, well, who is it? Somebody complained? Somebody on Reddit complained, did they?
Jesscombe?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know that name, sorry.
Jesscombe?
Yeah.
Yes, Jesscombe. Anyway, that's their Reddit name, and they're complaining that that they were happily using Circuit Lab, then all of a sudden they found that all their files were watermarked. All of their output files were watermarked.
Yeah.
And nag screens with, enforced timeouts and all sorts of stuff. We haven't tried it ourselves, so...
Yeah, I tried it back in the day. Like I said, I had it installed, and I haven't...
Yep.
I mean, that's the thing, like... I said that on the Reddit thread too. It's like, okay, I like it. It's it's a decent simulator, but I still use LT Spice the most. It's on my computer.
Right.
It's never. All it does is nag me to update. I don't care about that. I'll ignore that every time. But yeah, it's tough. Like I get it that companies need to, they got to make money. But
this was a startup, right? They need to monetize it in some way, so it's been free for, 6 months or something.
Yeah.
And they've all of a sudden decided, looks like you're going to pay. If you want the professional version, it's $30 a month, which I don't think is, the poster complained about that it was, mega expensive at $30 a month. Well, I don't necessarily think it is.
Yeah.
But... what professional is going to use a web-based EDA tool that can't do PCBs, like just simulation? Like, not many professionals out there. As you say, they're going to use LT Spice or something else. They're not going to use one of these web ones.
Yeah.
Very
sorry,
few.
guys.
So I can't help but think,
Well, yeah, of course, we expanded out to every tool, which may or may not be the case, right? I mean, like, there is a place probably for everything, and it's...
Of course.
It's just, it's tough, it's...
I can't see any of these online CAD EDA tools being picked up by the professional market.
I could see
I think that's a really hard sell. Well,
as I've said before, I mean, if you let me export to, KiCad, and you can pull files back in from KiCad, then yeah, fine, that's great. Because then I can share. That's the thing. I love the sharing aspect of all this stuff, right? I mean, that is by far their strongest point, and I think they, they grab a lot of people with that, and rightly so. But it's everything else is tough.
The thing they're doing wrong, though, okay, charge you $30 a month for professional commercial use.
Yeah.
Fine, no problem. But their student educator and their hobbyist versions are $5 a month, right?
Yeah.
Why? No, it's a stupid concept. You have a free version and you have a paid commercial version. End of story.
Yeah.
Anything else is just stupid. This is what I hate about Altium at the moment, and I'm going to have to do a rant because they're not tackling that free market. That's why Eagle's beating their ass to death in the low end.
Right.
Is because they offer that free version. And
I think they have. Well, that's the thing. So we should say though. I mean, Circuit Lab has a free version. It's just it'll continue to have the screens and the pop-ups and everything. And basically, it's
naggy. We're not sure of the exact. Yeah, and watermarked maybe, I don't know. So the claim is, but
right.
But a hobbyist version for $5 a month, just make it free.
Yeah.
People are actually quite honest, Like, if they're actually going to use it for commercial purposes and it's a reasonable price, they'll actually pay it.
Yeah,
you're not going to have too many people ripping you off at the low end.
No, at the low end, if they want to use it, they're just going to find it anyways, right? I mean, like, if someone if they need software, they're just going to go.
No. At the high end,
Oh, at the high
they're
end.
going to rip you off. At the high end, like the Altiums of the world, they're going to pirate your software, right? Because there's no affordable version.
Who's
right?
going to do
But,
that?
you know,
You think that?
Everyone does it.
Oh, I don't think companies do it. I mean, that's the thing. Like,
Oh, no. Well, companies, right? Okay. No, I'm talking about the lower end, right? If you've got a high-end tool
Yeah.
and you don't offer a lower-end version, people are going to, just pirate your software. But if you've got a free low-end version and then you've got a more a reasonably priced commercial version, people don't mind paying the money. Most people don't mind it.
yeah.
If it's reasonably priced, which this like $30 a month is certainly,
Oh yeah,
Well,
from a
it's
business
not
perspective, I think
unreasonable,
it's
right?
it's good. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess everybody's got to make choices about what they want to try and charge,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
Yeah, of course.
I'm sure when my thing starts up, people give me crap too, but whatever.
Yeah. But likewise, you've got to have free content as well. You've
Exactly.
got to have free to
Yep.
entice people in.
Yep.
Does anyone at all out there think Eagle would be as popular and de facto as it is now in the open source hardware industry if it didn't have the free version? No.
No, I don't
Right?
think so.
You'd have to be a fool to think that.
Yeah, I mean
right?
that's
It's because of that free version.
right.
With no limitation, yeah, okay,
Well,
you
no,
work within
there
the
are limitations,
and well, yeah, size limit, but it doesn't watermark your files, right? It doesn't ruin them. It allows you to do,
Yeah.
And then they've got a reasonably priced commercial version of that. So if you want to produce what is it, $50 or something? Don't quote me, but it's
On
not
what?
on
Eagle?
Eagle. If you want to keep it to the small size, but then release commercial products.
I don't know. I haven't looked at their pricing in a long time.
Something. Anyway, it's not that expensive. It's it's quite reasonably priced. So I would hazard a guess that most people a lot of people using Eagle, for example, that do actually sell their products, right? An open source hardware person selling their products, they do probably pony up the small fee for the commercial version because they want to feel good about it.
I think at a certain point too,
If it's a
though,
reasonable price?
any kind of software, if you're using it already, right, and someone says, all right, well, you can't make anything, and you've already done 90% of the work, you're just gonna be like, all right, yeah, fine, just give me it, that's fine. Just here's my credit card, go away.
Yep.
Yeah.
If it's reasonably priced,
Yeah.
of course.
Right.
If it's not, then people will find a way around it.
Right. Yes, and that does happen. Right. Yeah, and the Eagle Lite is $70, and then the
$70. There you go.
Yeah.
Is that does that allow you to do commercial?
this is poorly formatted page.
I don't know. I could
Hobbyist is
I could be
$169
wrong.
for non-commercial. And that's for the full version, and then Eagle Lite is the commercial
they're
for
full,
$70.
right.
Yeah, but that's the
Full,
restricted.
right?
That's weird.
Yeah, size. But hey, if you work within those limits, then you pay your $70. It's cheap as.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
Especially if you're making money from it. I mean,
True. Yeah,
it's
that's
nothing.
true. Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, like, anytime, I've been going through this with like, WordPress stupid stuff, right? Like blog stuff. Like,
Right.
at a certain point, it's like, I used to stress about $60 themes and everything, and after
it's nothing.
after spending 10 hours troubleshooting, like PHP and teaching myself all that crap, like I can learn it. I know I can learn anything, right? But 10 hours worth, like that, and me ripping my hair out the whole time, like no, that's not worth it. I mean, that is just, there's no reason.
There's $1,000 at commercial rates if you're charging your time.
Exactly, and at that point, and even not even
Right.
that, just for that, not having that, that terrible feeling in your stomach where you're just like, like there's something to be said, like if you're struggling, right, if you're working on electronics or some other hobby you enjoy and you're struggling and learning from it, that's great. If you're just banging your head into the wall because you want to, you just want to get done, you don't care, you just want to get
Do
done.
something simple and just get it done, and
Yeah,
that's right.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Just pay.
yeah, we
That's
were
it.
we were talking about this before the show, right? I mean, like double E's, not even just double E's, just makers in general, just people. If you have enough time, you can learn a lot of different things, right? I mean, like a lot of trial and error, just practice and YouTube. I always say that, like, with YouTube and enough time, I could learn a lot of stuff, learn machining that way. not well.
Do engineers and hackers and hobbyists instinctively have a better ability to learn new stuff? I think they possibly do. That's probably what got them into it in the first place.
Maybe.
Whereas your average dumbass who just can't learn anything for whatever reason or doesn't want to, or is it just an attitude thing?
I think it's an attitude thing. That is the thing that I keep seeing over and over and over again. You see all these success stories, and you look at like the epic struggles of here and there, and the only thing not the only thing, right? But the primary thing that always jumps out to me is perseverance, right? Yeah, okay, you didn't learn it that time, but you kept trying it, right? And eventually you're going to get something. And that perseverance is, like, that is such a key aspect of success that it's getting repetitive, to be honest.
Although I know people that persevere for years and in some cases even decades on a project and never get it done.
Right. Well, yeah, it's not the only thing, but if you look at people that are successful, it's always there, right? It's never like,
yes, of course.
You might also need good mentors or good resources or a little bit of luck, but it's an inclusive thing where if you're successful, you definitely have perseverance. If you have perseverance, you're not necessarily successful. So,
yes, yeah, hey, that's me. I worked for years producing videos day in, day out.
Yeah.
And ultimately, yes, it led to some success.
Yeah.
Now I'm doing it full time.
Now you get to talk to me every week.
It didn't necessarily have to work that way.
You were just like,
and
every week, man.
Yeah. And that's the same thing with our show, right? We did 100+ episodes before we got our first sponsor, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Even this is not a full-time gig for us.
No.
Obviously, but but now we're starting after 2 years of work and 100+ episodes. We're
150.
Starting to get some traction.
Oh, this is 150, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
I think.
Yeah.
I think this is 150. Yay, 150.
Hey, there you go.
Hey, we did it!
Yay! Oh, blow my brass razoo. Hang on. What was that? I don't know.
Blowing your nose?
No.
Yeah.
It's my brass razoo.
We should.
What?
I have no idea what you're doing right now, man. That's it. 150. I'm done. I'm out.
Anyway, woohoo! Yeah. I'm taking resumes now, folks, for a new co-host.
Oh yeah,
Chris is out.
Yeah, Dave gets to keep the show. That's right.
Someone bails, the other person gets the show.
That's true. Yeah.
Oh dear. Yep. Yeah. So it's it's perseverance. But as you said, perseverance does not always equal success. So, but usually, yes, the people who are successful have persevered. Very few people get there by luck. Just sheer dumb luck. Bang! Instantly, they're successful.
Yeah.
They're usually doesn't happen.
I read all this floofy crap that the business books and everything you don't like, right? But they
you're a big fan.
Yeah.
Yep.
They always talk about the 10,000 hour rule.
You've got MBA written all over you, dude.
I'm way better than MBAs. Anyways, they always talk about the 10,000 hour rule, right? I mean, that was part of Malcolm Gladwell's Blink or Outliers rather, and he talks about that, but that's actually based on another study, and it pops up everywhere. But I saw someone talking about that recently, and they said, 10,000 hours of practice, which is roughly 5 years at full time, like that. That's like that's another thing where it's inclusive, right? Everybody who's successful has that 10,000 hours, but it's not 10,000 hours of just practice. It's 10,000 hours of the right practice. It's, reviewing your design. If you're doing electronics, you're reviewing your designs and going over with people and, revising your methods. If you just keep doing the same auto router crap layout for, 10,000 hours, you can even count that as hours, right? Then, you don't improve then, right? You have to actually have some kind of feedback and...
Well, that's the thing. Some people just, no matter how long they do something, they're just not going to be good at it.
Right. Well, yeah.
Some people don't have the innate ability.
Right, but if you get outside it...
Or their brain isn't wired the right way, or whatever it is.
Right, or they don't seek training, right? Or, like that kind of thing. Like having a mentor is so important for that kind of stuff, I think. So...
And having some natural talent, and because everyone's, a lot of things will come down to, is it physiology of the mind and all that sort of, how your brain's wired and stuff like that.
Yeah.
As I've said before, right, I could spend 50,000 hours learning to play chess, but I'm never going to beat Garry Kasparov.
No.
Right? It's just not going to happen. That dude's brain is wired in a certain way that, that makes him the world champ.
Right.
I mean, it's just... That's what I always hate about these, these success seminars. If you put your mind to it, you can do it. All you have to, you can do anything. You can become anyone you want. Well, no, sorry, dude, you can't.
Yeah.
If you're 5'1", you're probably not going to win high jump at the Olympics.
Right,
I mean.
Yeah, I will not be in any heavyweight boxing matches anytime soon.
Yeah, exactly. Right. No, I'm not going to win Mr. Universe.
Right.
It's just, come on.
Right.
There are limits to.
Yeah.
Yeah. But all these successful people will tell you, there are no limits. It's just no. I'm sorry, the real world. That's the practical engineer in me.
Yeah. Well, if you find a field though that you like electronics, and it seems to work, right? You could do cool things. So that's what we're here for. Yeah. So like one
engineers can be a downer in that respect.
Yeah, we'll tell you what you can't do immediately.
Yeah, I'll just instantly say, well, you can't do that because blah,
Yeah.
And it's, and I'm usually going to be right most of the time.
At least he'll be loud.
I'll usually only say that if something's obvious.
Yeah.
Right? Well, yeah, exactly. I'll be outspoken.
Yeah.
But if something's obvious that it's not going to work because of X, then, that's it. You can't beat the laws of physics, Captain. Anyway.
Yeah.
Have we ranted on?
Yeah, I think we've ranted. We should get back to electronics. I saw this. There was this cool post in Hackaday last week of beer can stencils. Obviously, you wouldn't be able to. You don't drink beer, so you wouldn't be able to do this, and you don't machine stuff, so you wouldn't be able to do that either. But this guy did solder stencils out of aluminum, basically from machining out, all the solder pads, and then you could use it for solder paste squeegeeing and everything.
Out of a beer can?
Yeah.
But a beer can's round. Don't you have to flatten it out first?
Yeah, you cut the edges off and then you flatten
Wouldn't
it.
you get distorted? That's one of those, neat hack, but there's infinitely better ways to do it. Why would you do that?
Cheap?
Like, wouldn't you start
fast?
when you? But wouldn't you start with a flat?
Yeah, I mean,
sheet rather
cheap,
than a round
be the
can,
cheap.
and you got to flatten it out. It's like
I like it. I don't know. I like the machining aspect
neat,
too.
But,
I mean, if you had a laser cutter,
neat.
If you can do laser cutter, I think that's the way to do solder stencils, solder paste stencils.
Of course, yeah. But then you just get cheap sheets of Mylar and bang.
Yeah. Do you do that for your projects?
Right?
I guess you don't do assembly for your own projects, right? You usually send out for them.
No, I hand assemble.
Yeah. I haven't done. I don't do squeegees ever. I do sometimes I'll do like a foot applied paste where you'll have like the little air pump and the solder syringe.
Yep.
And that's not too bad. That's yeah.
No, yeah, it's okay.
I don't know. I think it's cool.
Yeah, I just get down and solder by hand. I go, hey, I've only got 50 parts. Hey, I'll just solder them by hand. I mean,
yeah. The Zen sit there and listen to music and
just
crank it out. Yeah.
That's it. So yeah, sorry, but I think that one falls under the neat but impractical. Like, why anyone would duplicate what that person did is, there's just easier ways.
Of course, yeah. Well, it's necessity probably. That would be my guess.
Right. Yeah, it's fun. Okay, made a sold a stencil out of a beer can. Great, done. Don't do it again. Because it's just.
Let's do a chip of the week because we haven't done that in a long time. There's a new part from Maxim Integrated because they don't just call themselves Maxim anymore.
Oh God.
Yeah. But
is it in stock?
Probably. It's not cheap. It's $8 per 1,000, so it's not cheap, and people usually get pissed about that kind of thing. But I think it's a cool part. It's it's a power line modem. So basically, you can you can put your data line signal on top of your mains, and
right. Yep.
But I think they released the new one just because it's industrial grade. But it's interesting just seeing that this is getting more attention because it's been talked about. I've seen it talked about for a long time, but I still don't see many products actually putting this out on the marketplace.
Yeah, because I've heard they're not hugely reliable.
Yeah, I'm sure if your wiring in your house is crap, then it wouldn't be great. But
yeah, and or you're on a different phase, or you're whatever. Yeah,
like different phases.
Anyway,
in the house?
How much stuff? Yeah.
Okay.
Or your lab, or wherever you are.
Yeah.
How much external circuitry do you need to make a practical?
Not much. It's
because we're dealing with the mains here,
right? Yeah. So it's a transformer, so you can actually couple to the mains, right? So you want to be able to couple on top of the mains. So you're not actually, like you're not just putting your circuit.
So you buy your $8 chip, and you only need a transformer. Well,
No, not just that. Then you also need a high pass filter, right? Because you want to make sure that you're not in the same frequency range as the mains. So not.
Oh, what? They couldn't integrate the filter into the chip? Come on.
Probably because of the size of the components needed, I'm guessing. Right? Because if you're doing 60 hertz, 50 hertz stuff, it's probably going to be pretty big.
Yeah, but they could have...
Pretty reliable, Probably don't want it blowing up.
Yeah, but they could have used external components.
Yeah.
What, so you got to actually roll your own separate high-pass filter any way you can, I guess.
Yeah.
Right.
And then there's the chip, and then it's two chips. It's a Mac Phi, and then it's a front end basically, and then you just plug it into your Ethernet, on your
right.
So if you have like a board that can do Ethernet, talk over the
do you need a separate
RX-TX
Phi or what?
Yeah, you need a separate Phi. They show the 2982, but. Right. 21981, 82. That's their, they want to sell you both, but I don't know. I think it's cool. And I've always wanted to do this kind of stuff, like it's a cool idea, especially if you think about, not necessarily just within your house, which would, that's interesting if you wanted to try and, not have to run a second set of cables all throughout your house, but.
Right. Yeah.
But also, someone was mentioning on Reddit too about, like thinking about it as a last mile kind of thing, right? Because that's the expensive side of things. If you're doing, if you're trying to run fiber, or if you're trying to get around all of the crap cable companies, right? Like my cable company, we are talking over a very expensive, not very reliable connection right now because my cable company's not great. So it's just another wire into your house, basically. If you can.
Please don't think that's practical.
No, I don't.
You don't seriously think that's practical for everyone in a street in the last mile to be hooked onto their mains to get their broadband internet. It's not going to happen.
Probably not.
You think?
Yeah, I guess not. This is only 14 megabits, so yeah, probably not.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just a cool technology. I like it. I think it's.
Yeah, sure. Oh, there's lots of advanced stuff to make this work.
Yeah.
10 years ago you couldn't get. The thought of putting data over your power line was, crazy.
Yeah.
Madness.
Right.
Maybe 15. I don't know. But Yeah. Okay. Fair call.
Yep. Chip of the week. We don't do that anymore, you know? We don't do chip of the week anymore.
Maybe there's a reason.
Yeah. It's tough. You know, I watch a lot of the... Because when I was doing chip report and stuff, and which is obviously stopped, I watch all the product announcements, and it's tough from like week to week because, you know, there's interesting stuff out there, but, you know, like watching all the different announcements and everything, it's just, you know, it's very seasonal, right? So like, you know, 3 companies will come out the same type of chip at the same time. It's like, okay, cool, another 6 amp buck converter. Okay, next, you know, or, you know, it's just tough like that, you know, like there's also just stuff that's the same. They're improvements, right? So like there was another chip that I found that was an LT chip. It's a 20-bit SAR 500 kilosample per second converter, right? It's like crazy, right? That's a crazy high resolution fast converter, right? But it's also $20+, right? It's not cheap, and it's not practical for 99% of the population, and probably more than 99% of our show too, right? There might be a handful of people that might be able to use it. So it's like, oh, okay, well, you know, it's interesting from the precision market, but that's just the chip industry in general. You know, there's so much of, you know, segmentation that until a segment gets updated, it's kind of boring.
And in most cases, if somebody needs it, they're going to find it.
What do you mean? Like,
because that's part of engineering. Like, you know, I have a requirement for this super high-end ADC. Okay, you're going to go out and search for it, and you'll find it.
Yeah.
You know, it's very rare that a chip comes along that's so, you know, amazing that you go, whoa, wow, look, everyone's going to design something with this, you know?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, the ones that usually catch my eye are the ones that are not standard, right? So like with the power line thing, right? It's like I don't see many power line chips, so that catches my eye. Or like,
of course.
There's been more ones for like super isolated battery monitoring for like electric cars, right? Again, it's like not a market that I'm never going to buy a chip from because they price people out of it, right? You know, like they don't want you to buy one of them; they want you to buy 1 million of them, so they price you out of it. But it's still cool to see what's going on in there. And then you'll also see the technology that's in one chip. It'll start to sneak into other chips too. So I think it's worthwhile to watch, but it's tough to keep up with sometimes. Sometimes they just skip the notices, and I'm just, all right, I'll catch you next week, guys.
Oh boy! Speaking of which, we've been going for an hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah, we should probably cut it off.
Of waffle.
Yeah. I did want to call out 2 new subreddits. So I know people are hot and cold on subreddits, but there's 2. There's a new one for app notes, which is okay. It's just getting started. But then also printed circuit boards /r/printed circuit boards on Reddit. That actually has a lot of great content. So good stuff on PCBs and everything. So I highly recommend people check that out.
Because that's something that everyone needs, right? Everyone needs a PCB.
Yeah. Until I won't say it. Yeah. No?
I'm not going to buy it.
Okay. All right, well, I guess I'll see you next week.
Show 150.
Yeah, in the bag.
Woo!
Feel better, man. Hope you feel better next week.
Yeah, thank you very much. I now have to go shoot my Teardown Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yay. My nasally voice.
Yeah.
And I probably shouldn't appear on camera because I look like shit, you know. So
yeah.
So yeah, if I don't sit in the chair in front of the camera and go,
you should wear a mask.
Don't turn it on, take it apart.
Yeah.
You know.
Right. Do you have like a gorilla mask or anything?
Yeah. Right. No. Maybe I can get one of those Guy Fawkes masks.
There you go.
You know those. Yeah. All right. I am anonymous.
Maybe you could just you could like do a voiceover for just Sagan sitting there, you know. Use him as a stand-in.
Okay, yeah. Right, yeah. Oh boy.
All right, well, feel better. I'll talk to you next week.
All right. See ya. show about nothing. It was a very Seinfeld-like show.
It was very Seinfeldian.
No soup for you!